also a self-care type of issue. When we get down to it. I better wait on some. No, he talked a lot about when people that are in the field have traumas themselves. It's important for us to recognize how that impacts our ability to be there for others, especially if something is causing some countertransference, to have some place to go and talk about, get support too. It's good not to be in isolation. If you practice by yourself, I've always been fortunate enough to have people around when I practiced. So regardless of how, there's been times children will tell me something that's just like, it'll keep me up at night. Just goes over my mind. Okay, how do you treat that? How do you help? How do you help? How do you help? How do you help? And we've got to have a place to take care of ourselves. If we get burned out, then we stop being effective.
You had said something about Massachusetts in there too. My parents live up in Boston, and she was just telling me.
Their trouble first system went through the same thing that we did.
I was gonna say I think a case just recently where a worker was supposed to be checking in on a boy. Did you hear that? Supposed to be checking in on a boy routinely, and she was writing down that she wasn't. And the boy had been missing. They found out a neighbor finally called and reported the fact that she hadn't seen this boy recently, and so they went and checked, and he had been missing for months, like since October, and this worker had been writing in her notes that she had been visiting this home and she hadn't been. And so they, of course, haven't found the boy. They don't know if they killed him or sold him, or they have no idea what happened to him.
The only time where that wouldn't be a criminal charge is if the supervisor gave somebody 70 cases and said good luck. That'd be the only justification, and still it wouldn't be, because I would want to. It'd be so hard to be a welfare worker. I don't think I could do it. There's just too many wrongs in the system. There should be something here. If there's not, I'm in big trouble.
There's nothing on my slides, but when you said they were videos, I assumed it was because they were videos. But my slides came up empty, and I printed it.
Movie not loaded. Oh,
Bad
that's
night
bad.
for you and movies.
I just oh my God. That's a true hyperventilation by me.
But you already. Oh, movie?
It worked on mine.
Must not have uploaded, right? Are you trying to get it from Blackboard?
Dang it. I thought that it worked on my computer.
Are you trying to get it from Blackboard?
No, it should pull off the internet. Let me try it on Blackboard. No, it shows up here in my presentation. I can tell you if it's in there. Okay, it's not their fault. My bad. I had that up to I tried to be fancy and do some advanced programming in Publisher, PowerPoint, and thought I was pretty fancy. And I outsmarted myself. I promise it worked on my computer. Enable macros, that's what I needed to happen. Okay, I think this is going to work now. Nope. Okay, well, I'm going to do it the hard way, like I originally planned on doing. Just in time. So we were going to watch a clip of Antoine Fisher instead of the horse movie. Has anybody ever seen Antoine Fisher? Sonia has. It's a really, I haven't watched it all the way through. I was part of the training, but from the parts that I've seen, as soon as I get a free moment with my 19-month-old, I'm going to watch it because it looks really good. The main character has definitely been through significant amount of trauma. Shows a lot of hypervigilance and shows a lot of resilience as well. So, just because I put these numbers up here doesn't mean this is like a death sentence. This doesn't mean this is attributable to everybody. What one of the researchers found, just by virtue of the 57-year-olds that were in this, not everybody was 57, but on average, of the folks going in and talking to somebody, acknowledging that these things cause problems in their life, just by virtue of doing that, over the next year, they saw significant reduction in number of ER visits, significant reduction in health problems, and a significant reduction in mental health problems. That's not ongoing treatment. All that was just an acknowledgement from someone else that these things were causing difficulty and a disclosure. Now, after 1 year, those effects were in place. After 2 years, they went away. But what does that tell us as clinicians, as folks that help people? What does that tell us? What kind of positive impact that we can make? Now, I sense you had made a comment about we want to make sure we're competent. I'm with you, but just by virtue of being there, that Rogerian type of thing, just hearing somebody for a year made a significant impact in this population where it significantly improved their health. That's pretty powerful. That's some good stuff. And so think about when we have some trauma-focused type of treatment, working specifically with traumas, what we can do. This was what it was supposed to be embedded in your, which it's just not playing, in your PowerPoint.
A child's experiences during the earliest years of life have a lasting impact on the architecture of the developing brain. Genes provide the basic blueprint, but experiences shape the process that determines whether a child's brain will provide a strong or weak foundation for all future learning, behavior, and health. During this important period of brain development, billions of brain cells called neurons send electrical signals to communicate with each other. These connections form circuits that become the basic foundation of brain architecture. Circuits and connections proliferate at a rapid pace and are reinforced through repeated use. Our experiences and environment dictate which circuits and connections get more use. Connections that are used more grow stronger and more permanent. Meanwhile, connections that are used less fade away through a normal process called pruning. Well-used circuits create lightning-fast pathways for neural signals to travel across regions of the brain. Simple circuits form first, providing a foundation for more complex circuits to build on later. Through this process, neurons form strong circuits and connections for emotions, motor skills, behavioral control, logic, language, and memory during the early critical period of development. With repeated use, these circuits become more efficient and connect to other areas of the brain more rapidly. While they originate in specific areas of the brain, the circuits are interconnected. You can't have one type of skill without the others to support it. Like building a house, everything is connected, and what comes first forms a foundation for all that comes later.
Okay, nice. Do you remember how excited I got when you used the word foundation?
Yeah.
That was why. So what stood out about the first video?
The relationship those children were having at such an early age, and how it, like the person who was speaking, how it provides the foundation for everything in the future.
Yeah, we're building a scaffold. Where that early interaction is very important. The primary time when a child's brain, we went over this is a review, 0 to 5. Wow, that your brain just develops like mad. So any of those adverse childhood experiences, I used to think when I would counsel, when I first got out in your shoes, got into the field, I naively still kind of had the notion that those first 5 years aren't that important. You really can't remember that much. We're going to talk about why that's 100% wrong in just a minute.
The key to forming strong brain architecture is what's known as serve and return interaction with adults. In this developmental game, new neural connections form in the brain as young children instinctively serve through babbling, facial expressions, and gestures. And adults return the serve, responding in a very directed, meaningful way. It starts very early in life when a baby coos and the adult